So if you're in the police recruitment process in 2024, I've got some massive and critical news for you, which might make the difference between you succeeding in the recruitment process and you failing. So well worth you pinning your ears back, folks, and listening into this, because this is so important for you. So what the big news is around intake sizes and cancelled intakes. What we're seeing is a reduction in the number of police officers being recruited. And that's what I'm going to talk to you in this video about, and how you can make sure that you don't become a victim of what's going on. So for those of you who haven't watched any of these videos before, I'm Brendan from Bluelight, and over the past 30 years I've been coaching and supporting people just like you for promotion boards, specialist interviews, the recruitment process. There's not much I don't know about the recruitment process, and unlike lots of other people, actually I say lots, there's not many people out there who can do what we do. I'm actually from the police sector. I actually was a real-life police officer. I retired as an inspector 10 years ago. I'm still involved in the sector. I still do work nationally with the National Police Chiefs Council in respect of the things like the Police Race Action Plan, and I work with individual forces still as well. So well involved in the sector, hopefully worth listening to. So what are we seeing at this moment in time? Well, we're getting a lot of reports in our Facebook group. If you're not a member of that Facebook group, the link is below. There's almost 25,000 people in that Facebook group, and they are people who want to join the police like you, or they're in the police already. And we do have people in there from HR teams from several forces. So what we're hearing from really reliable sources is about police forces that are reducing the sizes of their intakes. There's one county force has just reduced the size of their September intake, easy for me to say, September intake from 40 to just 10. We've seen another big metropolitan force reduce the size of their intake by about 3/4. We've seen a few other forces, county forces, just cancelling intakes completely. And this is the story right across the country, except for the Met. Now, the Metropolitan Police is the only force in the country that didn't succeed in its recruitment targets during uplift, and they're still finding it difficult to recruit the high caliber officers that they're looking for. That's subject of another video. There's plenty of reasons why. But for all the other forces in the country, we're starting to see some uncertainty, and that uncertainty is playing out in terms of numbers, and it's financial uncertainty. So what's causing the reduction in numbers? What's causing the cancellation of some intakes? What's causing some police forces to give you a possible intake date of summer 25? That's like 1 year away from today, which is just insane. Now, what's going on? Well, I've seen this play out before. So I've been doing this for a long time, and 14 years ago now, austerity cuts came into the United Kingdom, into England and Wales especially, and forces had to cut the budgets. They had to trim the budgets by massive amounts, and the best way to do that, actually one of the only ways to do that once you've sold off lots of assets, is just to stop or reduce recruitment. So sort of 13, 14 years ago, I saw this play out. A lot of forces just stopped recruitment completely, or if they did recruit, like my old force, Greater Manchester Police, it was 40 a year, and they would only recruit from the ranks of their special constabulary and support staff. So I don't think we're going to see anything as bad as this, because we've not got austerity ahead of us. We've got a new government, no one's talking about austerity. But what they are talking about is a big black hole in the budget and the amount of money that's available for public services. Now, the money's got to come from somewhere, and there's a pecking order in terms of which organisations get the big increases in their budget, or no increase at all, which is still a budget decrease because of inflation, or they actually get a decrease in their budget. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, because the budget is going to come, as far as I'm aware, in October. And police chiefs from our intelligence sources within the ranks of the police chiefs, they're telling us about uncertainty. They don't know what's going to happen, and they don't like that in terms of what's going to happen financially. So that uncertainty is making them a little bit twitchy, and so they're starting to think about what is ahead, and what is possibly ahead could be just a freeze in the budget, which, like I said, is actually a decrease in the budget because of inflation. And it's also a decrease in the budget because the police have just been given this September a pay increase. I think it's 4.5%, correct me if I'm wrong. But about half of that is being met by the government, and the other half is having to be met by police forces. Now, you might be just thinking, oh, that's just 2%, that's nothing. That's a massive massive cut in the budget, because something like 80 something to 90% of the budget, depending on the force, is spent on salary and pensions. The rest of it is spent on police cars, buildings, equipment, but a massive chunk of the budget, massive, it's like top 80s, 90% of the budget is on people, is on salaries, is on pensions. So the pensions are fixed. They go up every year, they go up by inflation. So my pension, because I'm retired from the police, that goes up by the rate of inflation. So they've got to match that, they've got to match the massive pay rise that they've just had. And it's well deserved, by the way. You know, the pay rise is well deserved. I'm not going to argue against that. I'm just saying this is what's causing this uncertainty. So when you're faced with that kind of uncertainty, you've got some fiscal responsibility as a group of chief officers, and you don't want to do anything which is going to impact on your reserves. Now, the reserves are the amount of money that police forces have to keep for a rainy day. Think about it this way. And this isn't a rainy day. You know, this is not a rainy day. Rainy days are big critical incidents where it's going to cost the force X amount of money, and they're going to dip into their reserves for that. And they're going to replace those reserves, because you can't just keep dipping into your reserves until there's nothing left. That's irresponsible. And so as they take out of those reserves, they'll have to put back in. It's not a magic money tree, as one Prime Minister said several years ago. Well, no, she wasn't really liked, was she? But anyway, I'm not going to get into politics. So that's why there's this uncertainty. That's why there's this uncertainty, and that's why we believe from our intelligence sources within the police sector that the police are starting to reduce the numbers of intakes. Some forces are cancelling them, but we're not seeing the sort of blanket, we're not recruiting for 2 or 3 years sort of things that happened during austerity. Is it making sense so far? Let me know in the comments below if you've got any questions. And for those of you who are thinking, well, where does it get all this information from? Well, we've got this massive Facebook group, a community of people just like you who are looking to join the police, who are in the police. There's almost 25,000 members of that group. We've even got members in that group who are from HR teams scattered across England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. And they sometimes chip in as well if they can be helpful. So it is a private group, people won't see you remember, but there's a lot of discussion there. Just last week, 530 something posts. Can you believe that? Over 530 posts in just 1 week. So it's a really active group. If I invite you to join it, click the link below. And a few questions that we're going to ask you to make sure there's no spammers in there, and become part of that community and access even more valuable information, templates, weekly webinars, question and answer webinars. There's a whole load of value in that group to help support you. So that's where we get our information from. By the way, you know, what else goes on in that group? We've also got an academy. The academy is where we help people, support people to succeed in promotion boards in their recruitment process. And for those members who actually join the academy, it's another layer. We actually guarantee the result because we work really intensively with them. So if you'd like to find out more about that, then check the links below also. So back to what can we do to make sure that we are not victim of these changes that are ahead. And as we receive more information and intelligence, I'll update you, I'll give you that news, you know, I'll spread that news with you. I won't reveal my sources. I used to work in the world of intelligence, I used to work in special branch, so shh, if you have got anything to tell me, don't just put it in the comments, send me a message and I'll make sure we keep it confidential for you. So what can we do to make sure that we're not victim of this? Well, I saw this play out over a decade ago. So what happens, and this is just the math. So if you've got, I'm just going to pluck out of the sky some numbers. If you've got 1,000 people who are applying for 100 places, and that would be typical for a county force. 1,000 people applying for 100 places. Ordinarily, 100 people out of that 1,000 would be successful. So it's about 1 in 10. During Uplift, that was the success rate. About 1 in 10 people who apply to join the police are successful. It varies from force to force. You know, before COVID, it varied anything from about 6 out of 10 to one force. It was 1 in 24, I think it was successful. So it varies, it depends on the force, but nationally it's about 1 in 10. So 1,000 people apply for 100 places. So a lot of those individuals will not be suitable because they've not got the right qualifications, or they get sifted out during the national sift, and then they do the online assessment centre, and even more get sifted out because they fail the online assessment centre. It's just a very tick box exercise. It's nothing to do with whether you're going to be a good police officer or not. There's plenty of videos I've made about the Online Assessment Centre and the National SIFT. So let's say that we've got about 300 people who are ready for a final interview. And they don't do it all in one go. This is like spread across the year for different intakes. Let's say they're going to have 4 intakes of 25 spread across 1 year. So out of that 300, we've got to get it down to 100. And so not everyone passes a final interview. I know a lot of people in the Facebook group say, oh, they're all really friendly, they're all really nice, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're still asking you tough questions, and you've still got to give good, structured, detailed answers to make sure you pass. You've still got to have the life experience, you've still got to have the wherewithal to answer forward-facing questions. So they do weed down the numbers. It's not a given that you're going to get through your final interview. And so I know that out of 300, 400, about 100 would succeed. That's kind of the ratio that forces work on. I know some forces might be different, but that is kind of where they're at. About 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people are going to succeed in the final interview. And so that's how it would normally work. But what happens if we've got some budget constraints and suddenly we've got to take that 100 down to 50 or 40 or 30? Well, we've still got all of those successful people who have passed, but what happens now is they get put in something called a talent pool. And you know, some forces may come back to me and say, oh, we don't use those. Well, you might not, but a lot of other forces do. I know that because I've seen it play out in the past, and I'm seeing it play out again now. So I know that for the big metropolitan force that's reduced the numbers by like 3/4, I know that the individuals who have got through and who are in that intake are all people who scored really highly in the Online Assessment Centre and got great feedback in their interview. The sort of feedback at the end of the interview, which was, that was a really good interview, you know, we'll let you know officially in a couple of days' time, but can I share with you, you passed, you know, that sort of thing. Whereas the others didn't score well on the Online Assessment Centre, or they just passed the interview, so straight through, or might have just passed. So they're operating a talent pool. There's a stated case, there's a legal precedent for this. You can't just pick the people you want. You can only choose the people based on their score. Like I said, stated case from the Cheshire Constabulary from about a decade ago. It still stands. It's a legal precedent. You can't just pick and choose the people you want. Maybe for age or ethnicity or sex or whatever protected characteristic. You can't just pick and choose. You've got to choose people based on their score. So everyone else goes into a talent pool. And what that means is, yeah, there may be an intake for you. They'll use words like maybe, possible. They're not going to say definitely there will be an intake for you next summer or spring. But that's what's happening. People are being told spring or summer next year. Expect some news around a intake date. Nothing is certain, nothing is set in stone. In police recruitment, nothing is certain until, a bit like buying a house, you're walking through the door with a key. Nothing is certain until you've got the warrant card in your pocket. Then there's some certainty because you've been sworn in as a police officer. So nothing is certain until that point. And so what we need to be doing is making sure that we are not in that talent pool. Sounds nice, doesn't it, being in a talent pool? It's not. It means that you're not in the recruitment process. Well, you are, but you're not scored high enough. You haven't scored high enough to get through to the next level, which is actually getting accepted. Or what forces might do as well is they might set a limit on the Online Assessment Centre. So I've seen this play out before as well, where some forces, nationally the pass mark was 50, they didn't accept you through to the next stage unless you got either 55 or 60%. More than several forces did that. One force was flexible, they flexed the pass mark depending on the number of people who passed, number of vacancies they had, and the number of capability to actually run the final interviews. So there's one force, I believe it was Cambridgeshire, this was like more than several years ago, had a pass mark of 68%. I know this because I had a client who got 67%, they didn't get to the final interview. Another client got 68%, they did. So forces can flex the bar. Some forces just set it as a 60 or 55. Some of them will still have it as the pass mark nationally, and they'll move you forward to the final interview. But if they can only take a small number, they're going to take the top scoring candidates. So how do we become a top scoring candidate? Well, shameless plug, we just come and join our academy program. Our academy program is where we have a 45-minute to an hour long interview with you to see if you're a good fit. So not everyone's a good fit just because you're breathing. Doesn't mean to say we're going to sell you this service. We want to make sure you're a good fit for the program, that we're going to be able to work with you. that you've got the capability to be able to succeed. And we work with you intensely through one-to-ones, small group practice webinars, all the online material, exercises, practice exercises, templates, everything you need. So we actually guarantee a pass, and we do actually guarantee a pass, because if you don't pass, we give you all of your money back. So there's no risk. Where is the risk? The worst that could happen, you fail, which you don't want, and you get all your money back. So you've lost nothing. You're where you are now. I know it's bold, but we can afford to do that because our pass mark, our success rate is through the roof. Why? Because myself, my team, they're all handpicked. Most of them I've known for a long time, for decades. They're awesome individuals, all of them ex-police officers, all of them, like me, were coaching and supporting people whilst they were in their career, not because they had to, not because they were getting paid, but because they wanted to, because it's the right thing to do. So I've got an amazing team wrapped around me who are absolutely amazing, and this is why we can do what we do. So if you'd like to find out more about the Academy, again, click the link below. There'll be some links down there for you to click on. We can arrange to have that call, see if you're a good fit. Make sure you get that really high mark to make sure you don't get stuck in a talent pool, or you don't get a letter like Cheshire used to do. I don't know if they're still doing it, but Cheshire used to just write to you to say, well done, you passed everything, but your marks weren't high enough, so you're out. Nice. You do not want to be that person, do you? You do not want to be the person that gets that letter. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this video, about any further information you'd want, or if you've got information that might be supportive in terms of our intelligence gathering, then please do message me or email me at brendan@bluelightconsultancy.com, and it will be totally in confidence, be able to take that information and in confidence share it with others to make sure everyone is benefiting from it. All right, longish video folks, but I thought it was necessary. Make sure that we help prepare you to make sure you are the ones that are successful in the next stage in your recruitment process, and you're not being left behind in some talent pool. It takes long enough already to get into the police. So we want to make sure that you are the one that's successful. You are the one that is going to get that coveted warrant card in your pocket. All right, see you next time folks. Take care, look after yourselves.